Yes, you read that correctly. After defeating the Kansas City JV squad 38-0, the Denver Broncos secured a 10-7 record on the year and captured the final playoff spot in the AFC. They'll head to Buffalo next Sunday to take on the Bills, and man, I cannot feel any happier about how this has turned out. Even if they do get smoked by Buffalo, which I think a lot of people are expecting, I still will look back at this season and see that it was a major step in the right direction, and like I said, it broke our 9-year playoff drought. Now, I was hoping to make this video like a couple weeks ago when they played the Chargers, or even last week when they played the Bengals, but hey, I'll take making the video right now over not making it at all. There are a lot of people to highlight that, contributed to the success of this team. First and foremost, Bo Nix this year. There was a lot of doubt and speculation on how he'll do in the NFL. He was viewed as more of like a check down merchant, like his completion percentage was sort of a joke in college football, but I think he's at least proven for the moment that he is going to be a good starting quarterback in this league. And given what us Broncos fans have had to sit through at the quarterback position since Peyton Manning retired, this is like a damn godsend. Of course, given the Broncos offense, there were going to be a lot of checkdowns and screens, but now we actually have a quarterback that can accurately sling the ball down the field. It's going to be really interesting to see what he can turn into once the team has a more consistent running game and better receivers. I can't forget to mention guys like Courtland Sutton and Garrett Bowles. Those two guys have been just cornerstones of this franchise for their entire careers. Sutton been here 7 years. I think Garrett Bowles has been here 8 years now. And before this year, they had never really been in a spot even close to competing for a playoff spot. So to see them now being able to celebrate finally getting in and playing some meaningful January football, it was really cool to see as a Broncos fan. The offensive line throughout the entire year, I think, was pretty damn good. Like, this is the best I think they've looked in quite some time. I also think that part of the reason that the Broncos didn't give up as many sacks this year is also because Bo Nix doesn't hold on to the ball as long as Russ. If Bo sees that there's pressure coming, he's either going to step up or try to scramble or throw it away. Russ, in those kind of times, he would like to hang on the ball for way too long and end up getting sacked. Also want to quickly shout out Vance Joseph and the Broncos defense. I remember watching a game earlier this year because everyone knows that watched the NFL last year that the Broncos defense last year was not good at all. They had that game where they gave up 70 points to the Dolphins, and there were a lot of times where the defense looked like it was just filled with so many holes like you could mistake them for Swiss cheese. But I remember they talked about Vance Joseph and how last year, I believe he was trying to mix his defense with that of Ejiro Evero, the previous defensive coordinator, and it really wasn't working as much as they thought. So this year he went fully to just his stuff, and we've seen a resurgence in the Broncos defense. Nick Benito and Pat Surtain were definitely our best defensive players, but our defensive line was actually really good this year. Zach Allen and John Franklin Myers and Malcolm Roach all made up a really solid defensive line. That group was always the one that was making the big plays on the run or pass, and I believe they set a new franchise record for sacks in a season. But I just have to keep saying it because it just doesn't feel real sometimes. Like, the Broncos are back in the playoffs after 9 years, 9 long years. The last time this team made the playoffs, I was in 8th grade, and now I'm 22 years old and I'm a year out of college. This means now that the Falcons and Panthers have the second longest playoff drought at 7 seasons. And I think we all know who has the top spot with 14 seasons. Now, how do I think they'll match up against Buffalo? I mean, it is a 2 versus 7 matchup, so the odds aren't exactly in our favor, but I still like this matchup better than if we matched up with like the Ravens. Both the Bills and the Ravens had some questionable losses and even some head-scratching wins throughout the year, but I think I'd still rather play Josh Allen over Lamar Jackson. Also, just to put it on record, I think that Lamar Jackson is the MVP this year, but they're probably going to give it to Josh Allen just because Lamar won it last year and the Bills are better than the Ravens, but that's just my opinion. But I think this has been brought up before, but the Broncos did beat the Bills last year in Buffalo. I know it was different teams on both sides, but going into Buffalo and beating the Bills is never an easy thing, no matter what team you're bringing out there and who you're playing. Who knows, dude? Maybe the Broncos can pull off the same shit that the Bengals did in 2021 and make a crazy Super Bowl run. I mean, it's all about just getting there, All you need is just that one opportunity to show the world what you got, and then who knows what can happen. But, like I said, regardless of what happens in this game, I think there's still going to be a lot of hope and optimism going throughout Broncos country for the first time in what's felt like forever. Like, real hope and optimism, not just like, this fake stuff that we've been dealing with for the last decade now. See, it's great because now I don't have to worry about my team trading a day 2 pick for Joe Flacco or signing Case Keenum to a big 4-year contract in the offseason. Now, it's just like, how can we build around Bo Nix? It's crazy. We can actually try to build around a quarterback instead of trying to find one again. I'm sure y'all can tell this is the happiest that I've been as a Broncos fan probably since we won the Super Bowl. And what makes it even better is that this was just completely unexpected. Like, I believe that the line for the Broncos this year for wins was like 4.5 to 5.5. So nobody believed that Denver would realistically be in a playoff spot. And, you know, I was one of those guys too. I thought, especially how the beginning of the year started, I thought that the Broncos would be looking to possibly draft Travis Hunter in next year's draft. Of course, given how bad the NFL was this year, but like, it's a weird season because like, the top was pretty damn good, but the bottom was really bad. So like 4 wins in any other year could get you like a top 3 pick. But now for some teams, 4 wins is going to get you like pick 7 or 8. It's very strange. So I guess if there was any year to just not suck, this would have been the one. So hopefully after these playoffs are done and the draft comes around, they can pick up a receiver and running back and linebacker and fill these needs either through the draft or free agency, and we can come back looking even stronger the next year. But I'm not going to worry about all that now. You know, my team is out here playing with house money, and I'm going to chill on Sunday and watch my team play in a playoff game, dude. It's just so weird to say. For the first time in 9 years, my team is playing in a playoff game. Sorry to Bengals fans, you know, I think y'all will definitely be back next year, but, you know, it's Denver's time now, baby. The season is far from over, baby. It is time to believe. And, you know, I mentioned that I will be watching the playoff game on Sunday, and if I can figure things out, and as long as I get back in time and I'm able to sit down and actually watch the full game, I'm going to try to live stream it. Like, I live streamed the game against the Chiefs this past weekend, and that was all pretty cool. So if I can figure it out and get back in time to watch the full game, because I will be traveling this weekend at some point, if I can get back and in time and watch the full game and I can get it all set up, I will be live streaming the Bills game again. So y'all should pop out for that game too. That's going to do it for this video. Let me know how y'all's teams are going to do in the playoffs, if they made it at all. I'm sorry if they didn't. I was in that boat for the longest time, so I understand. Check out the live stream on Sunday. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch y'all later.
Let's go. Let's go. Broncos. Broncos. Let's go, Broncos. Broncos. Let's go.